Let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, I think I have to be very honest and give a big warm welcome to everyone on the stream. This is Logistical Nightmare Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday night team versus team championship has just kicked off at Hungaroring, and I have to admit that I'm overwhelmed this evening by the amount of entries and support that we've gotten for this championship season. It is unbelievable. Like, realistically, th- I am speechless, to be fair. So where do we sit? This is our first championship again after a phenomenal long break. But we're back into the GT3 championship. Team versus team is kind of the classification we're going with this season. And as we check the boys coming out, giving their information, I mean, this is the team spread that we have. So when we say team versus team, we're kind of going by that individuals will drive as a team in two different classes, and then the overall point system for them will be calculated, and the best team will take the championship. Now, of course, these boys are going to do their individual races and so forth and gain their own classifications, but I can assure you it's just going to be phenomenal. So let's go. I've just seen someone in the chat, they go PWSR, and I am gobsmacked, as I always am, looking at this beautiful PWSR livery from Alan Patterson. Now, he currently started off smashing the top lap there, but from a qualifying standpoint, I think these boys are still warming up their tires. They've only got 10 minutes of qualifying available. Jacques Vermeulen is the new guy in his Durex livery with the Honda here, sitting up the fastest lap time, and again the benchmark for everyone to work with. Times are not as what we would have expected. Again, 23 degrees at the moment, 44s, 45 kb there in his Porsche, bringing it into the mix. So there's a lot of new guys, and I'm really going to struggle to just keep track of who is who, what is happening, and who's the individuals on the move is kind of where I'm going with. So this is really going to be a interesting season, just from my standpoint. One, I think my biggest challenge is going to be is trying to know and learn the drivers, and then memorize the team classifications they are all set into, and then hoping that they bring us some great racing. So on the stream I've got Duncan Hutchins. Hey man, welcome back. Brooker is there. Hey sir. Kieran Patterson also on here, screaming for the PWSR boys. Then we've got Byron here going up for PWSR as well. So we've got lots of PWSR boys shouting out here. And again, I can't understand why, because I mean, one of the famous teams in South Africa is PWSR. So they have certainly made their mark in all different communities in South Africa itself, but not just that, from a global level. But where else? Okay, so let's go back to basics. Let's see what we can figure out. Qualifying. Sean Stradom in a Honda, and I'm actually quite happy to see a bit of Honda cars back on the track. There's quite a variety of cars that's everywhere. So even though it's a team versus team classifications, we don't have limitations or restrictions for cars and drivers to drive the same car. So everyone's gone with their new comfort zone of the pickings. And we've got Hondas on the track with Stradom. Again, he's been chased down by Skitter, also in a Honda over there. These boys are doing low 44s, 43 at the present stage. Oof. You got Jay Schooler in car number 3 in a McLaren. Now he's trying to hunt down Alan Patterson there, who's currently in 10th, and I think I featured him so much. We got Robin van der Merwe here in a Aston Martin, and I don't think I've got his livery at them on me. Van Vieren there in a McLaren. Berries, who I just have to feature. Ryan Berrington-Smith, the man who we can potentially classify as our season championship, or our season champion of season 2. So he came in with a Porsche, trying to dominate, but then at the end of the day, respectfully won the championship quite fairly. But it seems like he is most certainly up for the challenge this season to regain that championship again. So I'm gonna love watching this develop and grow over the next 6 races. Again, if anyone feels like they can take on the challenge, you are most welcome to contact us at Logistical Nightmare Racing. We are, of course, all over the show. We don't just focus on PC races. We do ACC for console boys, and then we also do Gran Turismo Sport or Gran Turismo 7 championships, or 3 races on Sunday nights for the console boys. Originally started off as a console community, but we ventured into all kinds of things. So let's see if we can find out where we are. Times at the present moment, this is where it sits. 1 minute off the clock left. Like I said, the boys are very close to each other. Berrington-Smith getting in there in the low 44s. But again, the challenge is to get into that 43s, where it seems to be Stradom and Minard dominating the front pack. Again, lots of guys all over the show. 26 individuals, 39 on the grid. This is a big grid, 40 for me. So I am really going to struggle to keep track of everything. So anyone that's on the stream, I mean, just let me know what you see, where you see things, and then we'll go and have a look at that. Okay, Mawa, he is from Pace Motorsport BM team. Looking fancy with that black, grey and red color scheme. Now, of course, this is the well-known Pace Motorsport color scheme. He pulls off there just to give himself a bit of a gap to get a better qualifying. Currently in 7th position. Fastest AM man at the moment is P. Dupree, with not far off the clock, still 144s however, but he seems to be the leading AM class guy. Currently sitting comfortably in 6th, which makes me wonder, is that the Honda or the Durex, or is he an undercover alien in the works? Desmond Pullen in the pits, Paul Venter in his Bentley. Now again, for those that have known and followed Paul Venter on his live streams and chats, he has converted over to BMW, but it seems to be back in his comfort zone with the Bentley, and that's going to be nice seeing him develop that across the board. B. Holzhausen, a very familiar face at LNR, and I don't know, I'm indecisive. Like, there's 2 liveries that just fully, 3 of them that really stand out for me at this moment. B. Holzhausen here with his BMW, and then of course the PWXR BMW, and then of course everyone that's got this where is that this Durex livery that's flying around. So again, liveries look phenomenal. Lots of individuals in the pits. This is the final few seconds. KB makes it up to P2 at this moment. He out qualifies P. Minard, who's coming around the final bend here. Now Minard looks up by his time slot by a few seconds. Is he going to snap that away? Yes, he does. He snaps that away from KB. So grid positions is just epic. And ooh, don't know what happened there, but that's just contact. That's what I would call it, the last minute. let's go look at this. So times at the moment, no times basic. No, I need to get all this done again. Let's see if I can get to a great camera position. See if I can smarter the grid here. I don't have a lot of time though. Need to get myself a better viewing spot. So this is the grid, start to finish. Looking at everyone itself, Sean Stradom in first, followed by P. Minnar. Then we've got KB in the Porsche in third position. He's followed by Barrington Smith in his Porsche. Skutter in fourth. P. Dupree, fastest AM guy in the Durex. K. Mawa in his BMW car number 12 in 7th. Mayberg in 8th. N. Bullion in the Porsche, lovely livery there, in 9th. Alan Patterson sitting in 10th. Paul Venter in 11th. Vermeulen in 12th. Then we've got C. Drake in his Mercedes in 13th. Followed by the second class AM guy in 14th, which is D. Pullen. Then C. Clow. Andries Dupree. And everyone is bouncing up, so is mine. Where are we? Andries Dupree in the McLaren over there. Then Jay Neville in his Porsche in car 296, followed by C. Hunter there in car 28. Didn't have the best of qualifying. B. Holzhausen in car 24. E. Marie in his Porsche over there, followed by Robin van der Merwe in his Aston Martin in 21st. Then of course Van Zyl in 22, apologies, and Van Vieren there. So that's where we stand with the grid. Those are 22 bar guys, and I've literally just gone halfway through the grid. Unbelievable. I honestly feel sorry for our steering team this evening, because they are going to have their hands full if any incident occurs at the front of the pack. Now I really hope that we are going to have a good clean start from a racing point of view. Now I suspect that the Porsches there, Mr. KB and Barrington, are certainly going to get off the grid very quickly, but I also have a funny feeling that the Mercedes is good off the bat just at the starting line, so that Honda is going to have severe pressure on his end, trying to keep the whole pack behind him. Now I think realistically, first lap, first couple of corners is where it's going to count. How these cars are going to filter through is the bigger point, because way at the back of the grid here, we still have Sabata in 40th, Mandonaghi in his Ferrari in 39, then we have Sika, Van der Merwe, De Haar, Duplessis, Ferrara, Lee Bullion, Haraker, Robson, Greening, Young. I mean, the pack is, the grid is packed. And I'm not even a driver, and I am nervous at this present moment. Yes, from car mid-pack 26. A 40 car grid on the move at Hungaroring. 1 hour of racing. Again, these boys are going to start with full fuel. No fuel is allowed to be set or refueling. And then of course there's a mandatory pit stop tire change that is needed, but again that is only set at a 12-minute benchmark for the individuals that's going to do that. So the first couple of laps the pit stop's not going to be open as we go to the front of the pack, where they are sizing each other up side by side Grid formation certainly happening, as you can still see at the back of the pack. Everyone's filtering in, getting into touch with one another. I really think this is going to be one epic start. Looking at from all types of angles, wing view, just look at that. Scared I am. Grid start, there we go. Boys going down the race. Again, straight on, going very defensive in his line. No real moves at the moment, but look at the amount of cars there. Ooh, Galen, instant dive there from him. No contact at the moment. Looks clean from a race point of view. I'm gonna go back of the pack just to see how everything folded out. Look at the boys running a race side by side. This is a big grid and I'm loving the action all over the show. Still cautious between everyone else. Stern warning was given by the stewarding team. If incidents occur, they will get penalized. So let's hope it gets on Wilfred there. Oh, a couple of incidents coming through the filter mark now. Let's go back to the front of the race. My Delta is picking up everything. Straight on is still ahead of the pack. Now I've got to go and look and see. Ooh. Incidents are coming through thick and thin at the present moment, and that is going to be reviewed by our stewarding team. But nonetheless, even if it is coming in thick and fast, the race is on. The action is about to happen. Straight on did get a clean start, but he's not far off from P Minna there. Now of course KB is looking fantastically good. Not a lot of shuffle in the front 5 or 6, because it seems like where they started is where they are at. Then here at the back of the pack we've got Drake and Patterson. Patterson has made a couple of positions up. Let's just see. He is a big winner at this moment. 3 positions from his starting grid, and so did C Drake. So C Drake and Patterson gained so much at the start of the race, looking good and fancy. Couple of boys suffering here and there. A Wilson has gone quite down a lot, but this is where the battle is. Now, didn't expect this, but there we go. BWSR boy in 7th, qualified in 10th, 3 positions up for him. He has got hungry boys right behind him, wanting to make a move, and you can see Drake there looking at all kinds of angles. Now he is driving for Dave and the Dragon. Now that's actually a very interesting. Looks on the inside, decides to stay away. Again, you gotta be cautious where you want to make your move and where you want to make it stick. But you also gotta be very wary about the individuals behind you. So look at that from a wing point of view. He's got 2 Hondas following him with a Bentley. Now that is Dupria in his AM class, one of the leading AM class boys. And he's got Vermeulen behind him in the Pro class, and then we have Paul Fenter as well. But then not far off him is Pullen in a Honda as well, that needs to get past these Porsche boys to try and make a dent in the AM class. But currently looking very comfortable there in a potential AM class podium position, although he has got Clow there behind him, which is one of the PWSR boys in the AM classes. So PWSR is definitely trying to make it. Ooh. Oh, I nearly had a heart attack there. Oh, that was phenomenally close there. Sorry for that. That definitely looked like someone was just coming in. Hunter there, making big moves. Stick on the outside, around the corner. Is he going to make it stick? I don't believe so. He's going to go in there. These 2 boys are going too wide there. Hunter being very aggressive, makes a bit of contact there with Van der Merwe. Oh, big contact there. Now that was an incident that was not needed. 2 guys wanting 1 corner. Big accident on that. That is for sure. Top three boys are going head to head everywhere. Still actions everywhere. KB. Phew, I don't know where to look. I honestly don't know where to look. Like, you boys on the stream must tell me what I need to look at and I'll look at it. KB in the Porsche. This is Porsche on Porsche action. From recollection, I believe the last time Barrington Smith drove this track in the Porsche, he took the win or the W by far, but he's got a bit of competition ahead of him. Individuals still making contact everywhere. Hunter there at the back, now he's lost a few positions. Still a lot of incidents. Not many though recorded. Schooler has gone way down, not where he would have wanted to be. He's got a pack of amboys ahead of him. Penalties being dished out this moment. Stewarding team is working their way through. That 15-second penalty there by Dave Young. What has happened? Let me see if I can get on Young. 29. There we go, Dave Young, car 29, got a 15-second penalty. Stewarding team has decided that that is what it needs. He was in contact with car 447. Now, what happened to car 447, I'm not too sure. Let me see if I can find 447. There he is. In a sexy McLaren livery there. Still big battles here. That is Schooler trying to filter his way through the AM class there at the back. And he's lost a lot of positions, but he's making his way through them. Slowly, bit by bit. Kel van der Berg is being challenged in 19th, mid-brack boy. He's got a couple of boys behind him. BMW, McLaren, Aston Martin. So that is Fun Sale in his McLaren BM there. Followed by Gerard Janssen from Vieren in a McLaren, car 419. Then of course we've got Wilson there, and then Neil Bullion there, one of the Bullion boys. The Beefaroni Billions is what they call their team name, and I gotta admit that is such a beautiful name. Like, look at that livery. Polka dot spotted Beefaroni. Just makes me smile when I look at it. So where is his teammate? Now Bullion is teammate of Lee Bullion. There's Lee Bullion. He's got a different class, but he is being chased down by Robson. Robson looks on the inside. Does he make the move stick? That looks like a clear, clean-cut move there by Robson. Ooh, bit of curb, but as he exits, looks perfectly fine. Top front boys back into the mix over here. So Stradom has been leading since the start of the race. He is being hunted down there by P. Minor in second place. Couple of battles here between KB and of course Ryan Barrington Smith. So two Porsches are battling it out. Who is being hunted down by Sean Skitter in his Honda. Galen Mawa, on the other hand, he's got an angry or hungry PWSR boy, Alan Patterson, there behind him. Again, Patterson has somehow managed to create a bit of a gap between him and Drake, based on what we've observed not so long ago. So I think Pace has made a couple of paces up. So from a gaining perspective, qualifying to where he is one position extra for KLM Pace or K Mawa, who is with Team Pace Motorsport PM. In all fairness, top 10 boys looking fancy and clean, but the action is just not finished there. Paul Venter has managed to pass Dupree, and so is Vermeulen. This is where you kind of call clever class driving. Vermeulen has gone 2 positions down from where he has initially started, well, more than 2. But again, he doesn't necessarily have to battle with the pro class guys because they are being scored individually. So championship points is all about what the pro guy and his teammate in the AM class can do in combined. So again, if you have a pro class driver in first position and your teammate is a AM class driver, then individually, jointly together, your total points together will just put you on top of the team leaderboard, and it's all about the team grid and the team finishing position. So for those that have joined the stream, let's just see if I can refresh a bit. This is the teams that I've spoken of, and again, this is not a current classification, this is just the teams in general. So I'm loving the names everywhere. Team W, LNR, WTF catches my eye immediately. I've got a few other individual ones. I'm going to try and get to all of them as the race progresses, because again, this is a 60-minute race, 40-car grid. Action's got to be everywhere else. Let's go a bit to the back of the pack here by E. Marais, and he's you would probably call it a two-tone Porsche livery, or a bit of a light grey versus the black grey onto black livery. Of course, he's got a Dupree right behind him in a McLaren chasing him down. Of course, you've got Robin van der Merwe in the pro class trying to gain more positions, but he needs to hunt down C. Hunter in order to make any significant moves. That doesn't mean that these boys are going to open up the door for you. No siree. Fights are still on. AM class versus AM class is on the table here. Kel van der Berg, car 101. Let's see if I can get more action here. Anthony Wilson, yeah, in the pink and orange Logistical Nightmare racing car. And he's got Nel Bullion behind him in 22nd place, followed by Greening, and then of course T. Ferreira. So there's a 5-car grid pickup here. Unbelievable, 13 minutes in the race, and it just doesn't look like the grid has expanded a lot. It's like all the individual guys have similar pace to one another. It just shows you how hard it is to make moves at Hungaroring as Nel Bullion tries to cut on the inside. Doesn't really help. He's got to cut that back in, get the most of it. The question is, does that Porsche have enough speed in a straight line scenario? I don't think so, because I reckon that Aston Martin definitely has the legs, and he's being chased down by the Aston Martin behind him. So that is Neil Greening versus Nel Bullion, fighting it out in the pro class category. Anthony just making it so much harder for these boys in a different class to get through. But again, that's all about racing. I mean, he needs to stay ahead of T. Ferreira here, also in the Porsche Cup. So he's got that buffer between the two two pro class boys. And I think he's trying to make the best out of it, keeping them behind him. Otherwise, he's going to have an AM class near his rear end, which he does not want to have. R. Duplessis here in his Army Audi, very feisty and battling along with Hardacre. These two boys having from running team mixed emotion. So that's Jeff and Duplessis in the same team. The AM driver is a bit ahead of the pro class guy. Now I wonder if that is all about positioning. Again, R. Duplessis seems to have had a better race as more penalties are being shifted out there. Jay Schooler got a drive-through penalty. Now that's got to be one of the hardest penalties being dished out from a racing point. But then again, that could also be track cuts, track limitations. If you are punished, you are punished. He is making moves all over. He made pass there on T. Ferreira, not for class, but just for position. Again, position doesn't really matter when you pass a class because he's got to fight his way forward to Nolan Bullion there ahead of him. So Schooler not having the best of races to start off this evening. Back to the front of the grid. Of course, some of the action is as well. And we're very little penalties there. So you look at the map itself from an overall classification, the top boy is not really getting penalties. Ooh, Vermeulen there. Being penalized there, 5 seconds for him. I think he probably made a bit of contact here and there with guys. On track, but of course, now I can see in inappropriate racing, loving the team name. So besides the calling and besides the Durex livery, the team name is called Inappropriate Racing. Big ups to that and innovative thinking there from them. I think just purely because of that, it is definitely something that can be used in future references. But both Jacques Vermeulen and Paul Venter are trying to battle it out at the moment. Two individuals that is known as being teammates in most of endurance racing, driving different types of cars individually. Vermeulen in the Honda, Paul in the Bentley. But again, this is for position and classification. As we go forward to Alan Patterson, who has closed down the gap between himself and Kei Mawa. So Kei Mawa is going to start feeling the pressure from his end. As we look at the two BMWs in the final sector of the race, where it's the weavy section. It's normally the trickiest one. Oh, not so sure what happened there, but I think Scutter has gone off track and has subsequently come back onto track, but he has now filtered in between Alan Patterson and Kei Mawa. Now, again, great respect there by Alan Patterson. Driving skillfully there, avoiding collision of the Honda coming back on track, but he is on the rear end of Scutter, and based on straight line speed, he's potentially going to have this corner. Takes the inside line. Now he's got to hit his brake marker fairly accurately, does so, and then wins the corner. That puts Scutter down one more position, and he's now going to be chased by Drake in the Mercedes-Benz, who has had, I would probably say, a slightly uneventful race until thus far. So this is now a three-way battle between Patterson, Scutter, and Drake, battling it out for the mid to high top 10 class position. In all fairness, top 5 boys, top 4 guys are still running fairly smoothly. Nothing really going on in that troposphere. Of course, we still have this battle going on here. Again, I am filtering wherever the battles are. Dupria and Marais, Porsche on McLaren. This has gone very closely there. Dupria is all over the back of that Porsche. Now that is very, very close. See how close it is. Bit of understeer there. Loses a bit of gap between himself and Marais. Marais getting a bit more comfortable. Now these are two AM boys fighting it out though. Again, this is for position. But this is to at least get into the top 4 of the AM class. More battles here at the back of the pack. Robin van der Merwe here seems to have filtered his way through some of the AM classes. Now he needs to create the gap and chase the other individuals ahead of him and also make moves there. So it's gonna be tough as he's got Kel van der Berg behind him. McLaren there making a move. Van Zyl. No, that is Van Vieren. Great move there by Gerard Janssen Van Vieren there. Onto Van Zyl, gaining a position, but then he instantaneously goes very deep into the second corner. That could be deliberate so that he can get better exit speed. Noel Bullion on the other hand is looking fancy and nice there in position 21st. I don't think this is where he would have wanted to be. He has certainly lost 12 positions from race start. Very, very unsure what has happened to him, but he seems to be one of the, I would say, biggest class loser, and I'm not saying that in a harsh way, but he has lost 12 positions from race start, and so has B. Holzhausen. B. Holzhausen has dropped 16 positions, so the question remains whether these two boys made contact, perhaps, at the beginning of the race. Holzhausen, on the other hand, is now sort of having a very, very lonely race here at the back of the pack. I hope he can at least come back and recover. Front back getting ever so slightly closer to each other. P. Minnaar there from Team FYP. Love to know what that means. He's got PKB in his rear view mirror. It seems like the Porsches are getting very well settled here in the mid-pack of the race. 38 minutes of racing left. Sort of anticipate that the pit stop window will open somewhere just before or around about the 34-minute mark, and again I am really guessing on when that will happen. At the present moment it's still a closed pit window scenario, and these boys have to do a pit stop tire change scenario. So Kieran Patterson, PWS are putting under pressure. There we go. Thanks, Kieran, for your support. And I think just because you say that, I'm going to go back on that. There we go. Yes, certainly putting on the support, the pressure to K Mawa, and has been doing it since the beginning of the race. Had a great start. And of course, I think from recollection and seeing Alan Patterson driving over various seasons, he is very, very consistent. Not just fast, but consistent. So I do want to see what happens when the pit window opens. A few individuals have got a couple of penalties. Again, not a lot to what I would have expected. So gotta give big ups to everyone from the start of the race. 40 car grid. Like, that is exponentially phenomenal. Never have I ever. Let's see, I can feel. I need to get a bit more sound into the mix here. So hopefully my voice doesn't overpower everything or anything. Alright, back onto the race. Pit window is open. Pit window is open. So I'm off by about 2 minutes. Now, this is what I want to see. Who is going to jump into the pits? Will the undercut potentially work? How many drive-through penalties will we get or see? And who's gonna make the move? Oh, as KP is all over the back there of Minnaar. This is a potential opportunity for the Porsche to capitalize on getting a position before the pit window open. Now, of course, that Merc seems to have great pace down the straight line, but not enough for that Porsche to actually make a move count. So he's got to properly see where he can do that. Now, this is for the podium top 3 position. Ooh, has a sneaky peek there on the inside. Door gets closed down by Minard. Very clever there by KB. Not sticking in, well, not putting his nose in where it could potentially cause damage to him. But I think the most optimal decision here is to get into the pits probably as quickly as you can, Chris. That Porsche seems to be far quicker than the Merc at the moment. Oh! Bit of a hop, skip and jump there. Lots of boys in the pits. I can see pit window open. Clow in the pits. Hunter in the pits. Venter in the pits. Like the pit window is bombarded with so many individuals everywhere. As they enter and exit, damages here and there. Minnar and KB still battling it out. And the more they battle, the further ahead Stratum goes. Stratum hasn't gone into the pits at all. Minnar pulls the trigger. And this means that KB needs to do a proper in-lap now if he chooses to go in now. Now, I generally believe some of these boys are going to try and stay out as long as possible. Ryan Bennington Smith is one of those boys that tend to stay out far longer than anyone else. These individuals still battling it out. So again, as they pit, we start seeing all these green bars popping up everywhere else. Pit window is only 12 minutes long. See Drake looking comfortable there. No real fuss for him, but he has got a bit of traffic now ahead of him. And that is the Aston Martin. And I reckon, if I could remember correctly, that is the Aston Martin of Robin van der Merwe. So Robin van der Merwe, oh, just came out of the pits and into an Audi. And everyone that has gone too fast in the pits, stop, go, 30-second penalties being dished out by Clow, Hunter and Mare. Those are not nice penalties to dish out. And again, we did have a scenario in the previous season where we could have cleared them to be a drive-through penalty, but I don't think we can this season. Our poor stewarding team is so busy running up and down. To those individuals that did not oblige to the rules of racing, again, slow entry into the pits, slow exit is going to be punished with a 30-second stop-go penalty as Stratum gets ahead. Why it seems to be is that Pullen behind him. Again, Stratum still has not pitted. Dupree deciding to go into the pits. Deep Pullen, so it was not Deep Pullen, he is still out. So plenty of things are going to happen now, and I'm going to really try and focus on where all the action is here and there. Van Sale, there we go. Some good close contact racing here. Van Sale and Bullion, again, position 2021, Porsche versus BMW. One of the 3 sexy liveries I do love. I think in general I like all of them, but there is 3 that really stand out for me. And I think they're just so beautiful. Now, looking at any means possible to get through Van Zyl. That Porsche is definitely quicker down and through the corners. but it just doesn't seem like it's got the right straight line speed to make a move as we head into what we would generally call the largest hairpin on the world. Final corner. Nell needs to be far closer than what he is now. Ansel still continues to proceed, going forth, and he's got Imare ahead of him, who is sitting with a 30-second stop-go penalty based on
halfway through, not over yet.
Exceeding pit lane entry speed is what I would call it, and those are all dished out by the game itself, or the sim racing game. This is not something that our stewarding panel would give to anyone. And it's certainly a painful experience when it does happen or occur. Still a number of individuals that hasn't gone into the pits though. Stradom is in the pits. Stradom exiting the pits at the moment. I'll work it out now. So Stradom is there. Oh no, sorry. I didn't see that. So KB has not pitted it. So KB has still got 5 minutes of pit time to do it. He's choosing to still stay out. And so has Barrington Smith and Pullen. So I don't think he can do much longer. 4 minutes of a pit window open. These boys are really pushing the limits here. If that pit window closes and they haven't crossed the line to do their pit stop, then subsequently to that, it doesn't count as a pit. Therefore, they will get further penalties thereafter. Pullen heading now into the pits. Barrington and those boys still not out. Kel van der Berg, reckon he is going to be one of those that's going to go pitting soon, and so is Dave Young. Now at this present state, everything's very mixed up, but as soon as all the pit stops are done, then the boys would start filtering back into where I would expect them to be. Hopefully. That is if nothing really goes wrong. Top 4 boys haven't pitted yet. Straight on fastest lap at the moment. So let's just go and see what he has done. A 1:43.602 in race pace, which is phenomenally quick. And it looks like he has done that on... I don't know when he's done that. But he's still doing fastest laps at the moment. 3 boys hasn't pitted. KB in the pits now, that is expected. Barrington coming into the pits. I reckon Van Vieren will also go into the pits. Now of course the big question was, where is Kalen Mawa? Kalen Mawa I've missed that. Kalen Mawa has lost the position to Alan Patterson. That could have been a pit stop thing. So did Alan Patterson undercut, overcut him, or just do a way better pit stop than Mawa? I mean, I don't think anyone on the stream is stunned as to what I've just seen here, knowing the skill and talent that Patterson has. I reckon Kalen Mawa is really scratching his head at the moment to try and figure out what has gone wrong and how did this man jump me during a pit stop scenario. So as it all filters out, Stradom definitely goes back into first. Minor is there in second. KB is coming out of the pit, but then Barrington Smith has done a leapfrog of a pit stop. That is something I just did not expect to see. So KB went into the pits far ahead of Barrington, and he has now leapfrogged the man in the pit stops, came out nearly side by side there. That was certainly a close call between these boys. Much respect for them coming out and still allowing each other enough and significant gap. So big battles still going on in the top 6. I think this is definitely going to get far more exciting. Carrying on. Pace is all over the back of Patterson. Looking left, looking right. The pace is certainly there. BWSR versus Pace Motorsport VM. Action-packed at the back here. And then of course we have got Focus Bunting Ball Racing with a Music Porsche Prince KB battling it out for 4th position. And there's still further battles going on at the back. Van Zel and Bullion. Then of course we have Robson. He is being hunted down by Dave Young. Pit window is now closed. Those who haven't pitted will definitely suffer. Jacques Vermeulen on the other hand has dropped quite a lot of positions. I did not expect to see him there. I do recall that he was there in front of the grid back. He's gonna struggle now because these two AM boys are battling it out. Dave Young and Robson looking for means and ways here. Robson's trying to fend off Dave. Dave, an unsung hero in the ACC console community. A man that dominated that series, crossed over to the PC side of it. Now he's got to filter his way through a lot of traffic. Doesn't mean that he can't do it. Takes the inside line. Now that compromises his position, but he goes back. Tries to fend off the Honda behind him, but he also wants to gain position and advantage very wide there. That's gonna really compromise him in speed. For Vermeulen going on the inside, Pro Class boy looking to make a move. Reckon that if you can't do it, I will show you how to do it kind of scenario there. Of course, that is fairly possible. Doesn't necessarily need to give way. Oh, Robson going very, very deep there. Opens up the door for him. These boys are going to go too wide through that corner. That is very dangerous. How they made it through there is fathomably unreal. Vermeulen makes a move. Sticks it on the outside. Sticks it through. Robson wondering what just happened. Now he's got Dave all over the back of him again. Let's just go to the front of the grid because, again, action is everywhere. Patterson is still fending off Galen Mawa. Barrington Smith is fending off KB. And then of course Van Zel fending off Nel Bullion. And then big battles here between these boys. Of course I'm going to keep a close eye on it because, and it's just because Dave just seems so aggressive at the present moment. They're not really fighting for a podium position, but a fight is a fight. So leading AM guy at the moment, P. Dupree. Again, he did qualify very well and has subsequently just had a clean race from there. Kept it simple, kept it clean, wasn't really involved in any real incidents. but I have to admit, it just seems like the Honda in general is somehow very, very dominating it. Like, I'm looking all over the top 10 grid, and there's just a lot of Honda boys everywhere. Skitter, and then we've got Julian here, who is second in class in the AM. So again, that's a that's a podium, a victory for him, ahead of Paul Venter in the Bentley, Gerard Janssen van Vieren in the McLaren, F. Van Zyl in the BMW, who is being chased and hunted down by Nibullion in the Porsche, which I think has got to be very, very frustrating, because as much as that Porsche is great on entry and exit in every corner, far more dominant than what the BMW is. It's the straight line speed that's potentially letting him down, because he's just not that close enough to make a move down this long straight. Like, that BMW just seems to outrun him time after time. Even with a 5-second penalty, it seems like he can do that, and you can see that the Porsche just has the ability to potentially outbrake that BMW. So at some point, he has to go and do a daring move, stick it on the inside, and hope that his opponent will be aware of what has been done and not cause a collision. But then again, that's just all sensing, as these boys are getting far closer now. Race Motorsport looking on the inside, left and right to Alan Patterson there. I have spoken very highly of Alan Patterson in his racecraft conditions throughout the race, from start to finish, and I will potentially continue to do so, because he has that skill set with him. And I also know that KLM Pace, or K Mawa, is a phenomenal driver in itself. Again, gives me a bit of time to speak about the man individually. Well known within the Gran Turismo sport community. Got his own Discord channel and focused on the Pace Motorsport emblem. Streams on Twitch. So, a known sim racer in all types of communities, drives in various different types of classes, whether it be console racing, ACC racing, community racing. He is just such an active person, and I do tend to believe can be very aggressive. So how Alan is still continuing to fend off Kalen Mawa is absolutely phenomenal. I think Mawa is waiting for that small mistake from Patterson, which I don't think he's gonna get. Again, I might chew my words later and swallow it, but I think he's just gonna have to find the gap in order to execute the move to get that position. Whether he will be able to do so, that's the big question. And then, of course, we got the front-running Porsches here. Two Porsche boys that started far back in the grid. Brian Beddington Smith managed to gain one position. KB lost one position. So these two were side by side at the start of the race, and now they are fending each other off. Now, Beddington Smith, also one of those known sim racers all over the show. I think so is Mr. KB. Again, two individuals that have potentially not met each other in a sim racing community, has now seen and welcomed the challenge as they continue. About 15 minutes of racing still to go, and in all fairness, I haven't honestly focused on the leader of the race, because he has just led from the start. and has subsequently done brilliant racing. Skitter here in the mid pack. He is hunted down. Oh, that was definitely not necessary there. I think that was that really looked very, very close by two cars going side by side through that corner, and I think that slight touch between Skitter and the Bentley has caused him to spun out. Now I reckon that's going to be commentators curse. I am appallingly, honestly sorry for that. Let's see if we can capture that a bit. Going into Skitter. As they head through the corner, he gets a great exit there. Brilliant exit there next to the Bentley. Now they both go through that corner. Ooh, that was never gonna happen in any good circumstances condition. So poor Skitter has dropped a couple of more positions. It's then opened up the door for the AM boys to get into the top 10 seated. So again, two AM class boys driving their hearts out this evening, doing phenomenally very well. Barrington Smith, he's still trying to fend off KB Patterson, still trying to fend off. I'm gonna make a pick. I just have to make a pick. It's just hard to choose one out of everyone that actually does battle. So let's go and look at this three-way battle here. Porsche versus McLaren versus McLaren. Ooh, as one goes very heavily on the gravel there, deep into that corner. That's certainly going to give a warning. Now, of course, we've got T Ferrari here in his car class number 22. He is being chased down by Dupree in a McLaren, who is then being chased down by Scruton in another plan. So again, this is Porker's Bunting Racing, the AM class driver for Barrington Smith, the teammate of Barrington Smith. So again, Porker's Bunting doing the best they can, but got a bit of action here behind him. Scruton team Try Hard Racing in orange. Ooh, why haven't I featured these boys? GTH, that is a beautiful livery for a McLaren. I honestly need to sit with you boys and get that orange, because man, that looks stunning. Like matte black with that orange is just so gorgeous. I think I found my love for the liveries. I love the other ones, but wow, and a more wow. Ooh. Side-by-side action does occur. These boys need to be aware. When you go 2x2, there's more than one, and this is a three-way battle between the M class boys. Oh, wow. Well, missed him. Scruton pause is immediately lets the two boys take themselves out. As I admit, there is quite a lot of penalties that needs to be investigated throughout the race, but Scruton has succeeded in winning that battle. Let's go back to where more battles are. That was brilliant. Let's look here at the back. Aston Martin, Robin van der Merwe, car number 2. He's got Dave Young behind him. Again, different class, different scenario. 33 boys on the grid. So we have lost 7 individuals, which is quite hectic, and I hope that is not purely because of racing incidents and scenarios. If that is the case, we probably need to start looking at splitting the grid, because it's all about clean racing here. I really don't want individuals to have a bad love for sim racing after a awful race. That just puts an awful dent in what we want to achieve. Thank you. Anyone on the stream? Sandro, PS or PC? Sorry, Sandro. Hope you're still there. I'm only catching up now on who's talking. So this is PC sim racing on ACC. Again, Sandro, if you want to get involved in PlayStation, all our events are registered or can be registered on simgrid.com. Just look for Logistical Nightmare Racing. All our console races are hosted there. Again, communication in our Discord channel, whereas opposed to our PC events, that is all hosted on simracing.gp. Again, communications similar to the AC side is on our Discord channel. So if you need any information, feel free to look us up on any social media platform. Again, just search for Logistical Nightmare Racing, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're pretty much everywhere. And then, of course, we also have a website for you to look up and contact us. Otherwise, all communications is on Discord. So feel free to give us a shout out or let us know if you need any help. And we will certainly see if we can find a spot or place for you. More penalties being dished out all over the show. Gotta go back to where all the action is. And this action still continues. Ooh, that is Kalen Mawa going very, very deep the minute I go and have a look at him. Gives a hint of a flash there to Patterson. Probably saying, oops, sorry, I missed my break. Hope you survived that and I didn't give you a heart attack is what I'm going with. Again, they can probably translate it to something way different. A Dupree getting a drive-through penalty, who then subsequently gets a stop-go 30-second penalty. Now that is a painful experience for Dupree there. He just seems to have all kinds of trouble at the moment. Julian and Vancel, these two still continuing on as they battle it through. Of course, Julian does have a 5-second penalty, so even if he manages to make a move on Vancel, he needs to create a 5-second gap in order to account for that position. So this is where I'm starting to ask the questions. It's like, do you drive strategically based on your pending penalty you have? Because to get a 5-second gap in about 7 minutes of race time, which is potentially about what, 3-4 laps. Ooh, B Minnar drive through there. Not certain what has happened, but that is definitely for potential track cut penalties. He's gonna fall way behind. Is he? Maybe not. And this is Patterson. So I guess Minnar will only lose 2 positions. Not that much in general. Thankfully, as he filters his way back in right in front of Robson there in the AM class. Now that is very unfortunate. Last few minutes loses out on a podium, puts the Porsches back in the mix there. So 2 Porsches coming to capitalize from the back of the grid into podium positions, trying to chase down the leader at the moment. And again, the man that started the race in the front. and seemingly wants to finish the race in the front. Oh, again, elbows out, 5 minutes still to go, anything can happen. Patterson and Marwa, that gap has opened up slightly, but is slowly, no, not really. Drake is here at 10, Pullen, Fainter. I'm really looking for where the action is. Of course, there's big action here. AM class boys battling it out. Now this is not for podium position. This is first in class, being chased down by number 6, who is Dave Young. Then we've got Clow there in 7th. So these 3 AM boys are fighting for 5th place, and again, they are most welcome to battle it out. It does look like Ferreira's got a bit of damage there on his Porsche. Whether he is struggling to maintain that is the question. Dave Young going very aggressive in the inside, does not make the move though. Makes Ferreira aware that he is going to battle it out. Now this is BWSR here. Points is what counts. Dave Young here for Dave and the Dragon. Don't know where his teammate is because I haven't seen him in a while. That is Drake is his teammate. Dave is trying to fight for that position because again, any point gain is points for the team. Porsche seems to be struggling through every corner. Merck is on the left, on the right, but he's got to be cautious because he's got a BMW behind him that is just as hungry for position. So boys are fighting it out. And again, that is the LNR livery, one of our old ones that we haven't used in ages. Driven by Dave there. Have to admit, still looks good. Still looks good. That Merc certainly must have the legs to at least make waves down the straight. Is Ferreira going defensive? No, Dave is going to stick his nose in. It depends on who brakes. Fastest or the best. Big battle still here. I could just figure out what these boys are thinking. Like in my head, I'd love to have them sit to me and tell me, well, how are they planning and where are they going to make the move? Again, this is Hungaroring, such a brilliant track, but so difficult to get any moves done unless you can sit it properly in the start-finish straight line. And corner to corner is going to be very hard to define. You do need your opponent to make a mistake in order to capitalize on that. Minutes of racing left. We're going to go back to the front of the grid again, where we have Barrington Smith currently in 2nd place, still being chased down by KB. Just not finding the space to do it, and this is the final lap. We've been told the final lap straight on in the team Logistical Nightmare Racing. Looking very good for taking the first official win at Hungaroring in our Season 3 Race 1 event. Again, 6 race championship, plenty of things to happen. And as much as I'm going to say, yes, he has taken the victory today, it's all about team points at the end of the season. So let's see which team can work together, capitalize the most points, and then take the overall victory. So it doesn't mean you have the fastest guy on track to win it. It's all about what your partner does and how he finishes off. And looking at it, Robson is currently in 22nd place, so he is far down the grid. It's all about points and points and points. And based on what I can do, calculation-wise, Walker's punting, Paul Racing will potentially be ahead of the Honda team. That's just by me doing mathematical calculations at the moment. Final few corners. This is the last one for Stratum. Haven't really talked about him throughout the race, and I do apologize, and he might hate me for that, but I'll get him on the checkered flag. Great victory race there by him, taking the checkered flag. Cleanly hand Barrington Smith in second, followed by KB not far from that. B. Minnar, who had a drive-through penalty, again was sitting comfortably in second, got the drive-through penalty based on track cuts. He takes 4th place position. Good race there by him, finishing phenomenal. And then Alan Patterson looks like he is certainly going to stay ahead there of K Mawa, who is going to finish right next to him for 6th position. C. Drake, I thought the man wasn't here. How did I miss him? He is part of the Dave team, taking 7th position in the Merc. Great race by him. Then of course we got the winning AM class here, P. Duprier in his Durex Honda. Phenomenal drive by him. 2nd podium position in the AM class. The D Pullen in 9th, but 2nd in class, and that is very important. Paul Venter coming through. Van der Merwe, where is 3rd place podium in the AM class, and that's the man I'm looking for. Mr. Gal van der Berg had a very lonely race. In all fairness, I don't think anyone has realistically challenged him, but has subsequently finished off in a podium position for his class, which I think is absolutely phenomenal as everyone crosses the line. So let's go to the front of the grid. Our boys are out. I really thoroughly enjoyed and loved that. Whew. That was hectic. That was very hectic. Let's just go look at the times if I can. Turn to garage, timetable, race conditions. Overall, we have this in class. Then of course your AM class are these boys that also had a phenomenal race in itself. Few individuals not really finishing it up there, but I think for first race 40 car grid scenario, this is certainly of epic proportions. And I'm kind of hearing someone spinning somewhere. Please tell me where you are. No one, can't find him. Well, that was a phenomenal race. For everyone on the stream, I thank you greatly for your support. Sorry I didn't talk to you that much, but I think well done to everyone that actually joined and raced. Thank you to you all that joined up. Tomorrow night we're gonna do console racing. Again, ACC, it's Spa, it's a cup car, so do look out for us. Same time, same place. And then next week we will have round 2 of our team versus team series, pro and am different classes. It's just gonna be epic. Do look out for that. Give us a shout out, give us a like, come and say hi, just say welcome. Again, everyone welcome. To everyone else out there, thank you. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.